All right, guys, we're talking about vanilla today. You know, vanilla is my number 2 favorite note right before my number 1, which is patchouli. But I really do enjoy vanilla in fragrances, and I've got a great video for you today. This is a video pulled from my vanilla fragrances deep dive video that I aired a few months ago. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch that video. It's long. It's a 3-hour long video, and the video is broken down into various styles of vanilla fragrances. So basically what I've done is taken portions of that video and aired them separately, as you see here today. And today I'm talking about vanilla, but we're talking about gourmand dessert vanilla fragrances. These are the ones that are like dessert, and there's multiple categories. If you prefer to watch the deep dive, go catch that video, but I also have it linked in the info box. But today I'm talking about gourmand dessert vanilla fragrances. Before I talk about the fragrances though, if you haven't already heard, we are doing ScentFest SF here in San Francisco, and I would love for you to come. There's a link in the info box. You can find out all the information on ScentFest SF. It's a 3-day fragrance festival, trade show for consumers, and we're bringing in really awesome niche fragrance houses. And you're going to want to come and meet the brands and the people behind the brands and discover new fragrances and have awesome fragrance-related experiences. It's going to be on June 26, 27, and 28, and it comes right after the WPC, World Perfumery Congress, which is happening 23, 24, and 25. That's taking place in Monterey. ScentFest SF is in San Francisco, California, overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz, and the San Francisco Bay. And then there's also another event happening in Napa called Business of Beauty Global Forums. So that's why we decided to do it around these dates, because there's going to be a big concentration of people in the industry here. So I'm hoping that you guys check it out, get your tickets, plan your travel, and come and experience and have an awesome show here at ScentFest SF. So now let's get started on those gourmand dessert vanilla fragrances. We're gonna go to the house of ATTAR collection. It's Crystal Love. That's the first fragrance. So this is part of the gourmand dessert vanilla fragrances category. I have a few of their fragrances here, this brand, but I quite dig this one because it's a delicious, kind of marshmallowy, creamy take on a spicy vanilla. To me, when you put your nose to it, you do have that creaminess. It's a bit sticky well, I wouldn't say sticky, but more like creamy marshmallowy and maybe like whipped cream. And then there's a slight fruity spiciness in there as well. Definitely a vanilla that I love. I love vanilla fragrances. If you guys don't know, it's my second favorite note. Still it is. It hasn't crept up past number 1. I still think number 1 is patchouli, if you guys didn't know. Vanilla is really close behind it. And this definitely is a great scent to start with here in this video. It's a brand I'm not too familiar with, but I think this is a pretty solid fragrance. Crystal Love from the House of ATTAR collection as a gourmand dessert style vanilla. So next, going to the House of BIRKHOLZ. This is satin vanilla, and I had a bit of a back and forth by myself about where this should go. Now it's pretty creamy vanillic, but there's something initially when you first spray it, it's almost like acting green and smoky, almost like leather. Like there's a darkness that kind of contrasts. But according to the notes, it's boozy notes, not necessarily dark notes, but something acts a bit leathery. Then the fragrance gets really super smooth, and satin comes to mind. It's velvety, satin smooth, very creamy, and becomes more gourmand. But what's that note up at the top that kind of throws me off a little bit? It could be like a very dark, smoky, like there's a boozy note up top. I'm almost thinking it's more like mezcal because it's so smoky. I mean, it's boozy at the same time, but once you get past that, it's so delicious. And so I'm putting it here in the gourmand section of the video, but I think it could have fit into the dark resinous section with the leather fragrances and so on. Let me know if you're familiar with the brand. BIRKHOLZ, this is satin vanilla. Next, going to the House of Born to Stand Out. I could have put this into the indie category. I decided to put it here. We've got Free Cocoa from the House of Born to Stand Out. Even though this is an indie brand, I think, didn't they sign a Sephora deal? And this fragrance right here is a Selfridges exclusive. It's the Selfridges Yellow. I have to say, this is so yummy. It's coconutty, nutty, creamy, powdery, delicious vanilla, I think. Super, super yummy. Very, very cozy. It's too bad. It's an exclusive. It's really too bad. And I'm hoping it'll come off the exclusivity. I should also say it's a bit milky, and I think it's a given with the fact that it's got coconut. But wow, it's yum. Behind it all, there's a little bit of something a bit like ambroxan in the base, the amber woods in the base, but it's really, really nicely done. Long lasting, very comforting, super cozy, and sweet, spicy, creamy, nutty, a bit tropical yumminess. So that's Free Coco from the house of Born to Stand Out. Next, going to the house of CHABAUD, Maison de Parfum. This is LAIT de Vanille. LAIT de Vanille, LAIT milk, vanilla milk. The brand has several milk-focused fragrances. They also just came out with a tiramisu fragrance, I believe, that was really super yummy. But LAIT de Vanille, just imagine a very milky lactonic overdose with a milk combo. LAIT de Vanille, yeah. I mean, I've done enough baking myself where I've, cooked with milk and vanilla together. And I like that combo. It's super delicious. And you've got that here. It might come off a bit simplistic, I have to say, because in the end, there's not much going on except for the milky notes and the vanillic notes. So it's sweet, lactonic, maybe a slight bit nutty and woody in the base, maybe a bit of amber thrown in as well. Out of the LAIT fragrances from this house, I really enjoy this one. My favorite, though, is the chocolate. My least favorite is the LAIT concentrate. I don't care for that one as much, but this is really close behind the chocolate one, LAIT de Chocolat. So that's LAIT de Vanille from CHABAUD, Maison de Parfum. Then we're going to the house of COMPTOIR Sud Pacifique. It's Vanille Extreme. This is a pretty long-standing house. Their fragrances do end up at the discounters quite a bit. And by the way, if you are in the market for any of these fragrances, I do have them tagged in the info box. But basically this is vanilla intensified. That's why it's called Vanille Extreme. It's sweet for sure. It's a bit spicy. There's some light creaminess in there. A bit caramelly, butterscotchy as well, which is quite yummy that way. And once again, like simplistic like the previous fragrance. I mean, I wouldn't say this is super duper like heavy because it's an eau de toilette, but they just boosted up the vanilla in this, I think. But for sure, you've got the stickiness, like butterscotchy, caramelly stickiness. There's some spice, maybe some light citruses. I'm picking up nondescript citruses, but sweet citruses. And of course, some light woods and maybe a bit of amber thrown in. It might come off a bit milky as well, but still very simplistic. But very cozy, I think. Vanille Extreme from Comptoir Sud Pacifique. Let me know as I'm, doing the fragrances, talking about the fragrances. Let me know which is turning out to be your favorite. Let me know which you've worn, which you've hated, which you've loved, which I'm missing. Because, there's a lot of vanilla fragrances out there, but it's 100 fragrances video. I couldn't fit everything in this video, by the way. So let's move on to the house of Giardini di Toscana. It's Bianco Latte. And very popular fragrance, although I think the popularity might have died down on this one a little bit, but I think it's still pretty popular. But for me, it's a vanillic milk, basically, or more in line with something like if you've ever bought vanilla ice cream, you're looking at the two different options, vanilla and French vanilla. To me, it acts a bit like French vanilla to me. Also, you've got the idea of a vanillic frothed milk, but just imagine milk froth. It's creamy, smooth, velvety, silky, powdery, all in here. But it's all very vanillic. It's super milky. Like milk is the star here, vanilla is the star here. So it's vanilla milk, basically, what you're dealing with. And it's super cozy. We actually featured this in one of our original Scent Club kits. Really a popular kit for us. I do like that one quite a bit. It's super comforting. Anything milky lactonic I find to be super comforting. All right, up next, going to the house of Indult. It's TIHOTA. I haven't spoken about TIHOTA in a long time. I do have a video on the channel of the original 4 fragrances from maybe almost 10 years ago. This is a fragrance created by Francis Kurkdjian. Now, he created these fragrances in the original set of fragrances from Indult before he launched his own brand, MFK, I think these launched in 2007. And a lot of people consider TIHOTA to be the holy grave of vanilla fragrances. It's like the ultimate in vanilla. And to me, I agree. I definitely agree. It's very fluffy, marshmallowy, and creamy for me with a slight booziness. I wouldn't say this is as boozy and dark like Guerlain's Spirituous Double Vanille, but it has some of those characteristics. It's a bit musky as well, I think, but overall it's super, super delicious. I mean, it's got a cult following. I remember when I was first in the fragrance community on social media, people would be head over heels ranking this one as their favorite. And I think it's still great. It's a great vanilla. I mean, one Francis Kurkdjian created. He's created better fragrances for some other brands instead of his own brands. Although MFK has some good fragrances, I'm just a bit underwhelmed with some of the Dior stuff he's done. But this is a great vanilla by Francis Kurkdjian. If you don't know it, check it out. It's TIHOTA from INDULT. Super yummy fragrance. Very, very fluffy, creamy, marshmallowy. Up next, going to the house of KAYALI. It's Vanilla 28. This is also really, really yum. Really yum. I really love this vanilla. I can see why people love it as well. It's got a following. So yummy. It's spicy. I mean, first of all, it's very gourmand. It's kind of a dessert vanilla, but there's spicy touches here, a bit of boozy touches, and it's a little bit of a sticky caramelly. It's got that KAYALI DNA, and they have a fragrance called Musk, which is my favorite of the house, and I find that the DNA of the musk is in this vanilla as well, which I quite like, and there's definitely a muskiness here, which is adding a super sexy layer. But I can see why this is popular. It's just a really nicely done vanilla. It's gourmand, but it doesn't fully like go there like completely. Like there's some darker touches is what I'm trying to say, like the spices and the booze. It's so yum. Really, really wonderful vanilla. That's Vanilla 28 from the house of KAYALI. Let me know if you're a fan. You're gonna find KAYALI in this video 3 times. That's the first. They've got a couple of other vanilla fragrances. And then we're going to the house of MICALLEF. This is Note Vanille. Vanille, not vanille. Vanille. I've been corrected. A long time ago I got corrected. I always thought it was vanille, but it's vanille. This is also kind of similar in line with KAYALI, I think, but maybe a bit more like the INDULT rather than the KAYALI. And by the way, I've categorized these fragrances. I think there's going to be crossover. I think they can end up in other categories. But I just wanted to have different categories here for you guys to skip around. You prefer more of the gourmand style, you tune into this category. If you prefer more of the designer style, you skip ahead to the designers and so on and so on. But I was told early on, when I first got on the scene, I didn't know about this fragrance. Then when some people were telling me about it, I think it was kind of shelved. They finally brought it back. I do enjoy it. It's very, very cozy. It's a bit spicy, slightly musky, and there's definitely the caramelly, marshmallowy characteristics in there. So because it is kind of fluffy, I think it makes it very cozy. What do you guys think? Note Vanille from the house of MICALLEF. I think the version of this versus the previous edition is also slightly different from what I hear. I'm not 100% sure because I've never got my nose on the original. And we're going to the house of Mancera next. AMORE Cafe. Yeah, I put AMORE Cafe here, even though it's a cafe-focused fragrance. It's inspired by an affogato, which I absolutely love. AMORE Cafe is more like an affogato because affogatos are ice cream. And when I do them at myself, it's French vanilla ice cream that I use. And not super frozen. It's got to be a little bit creamy, like not like super hard is what I'm trying to say. 2 scoops and a shot or 2 of espresso on top. And that's the idea here. So this is to me very vanillic, super vanillic, but you've got light touches of coffee in there. And like sometimes on the affogatos, you also get like biscuits or like cookies or something. I do pick up some things like that here as well. But the fact that it's very vanilla ice creamy, it's very cozy, super, super cozy. It's definitely one of my favorites of Mancera's for a long time. They launched two really great ones back to back, like Amore Cafe and Tonka Cola. I haven't kept up. Like Explicit Vanilla, which I did not feature here, which was in our mystery box. I just ran out of space. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video, who knows. But for now, I do really enjoy Amore Cafe from Mancera. Really awesome scent. So next we're going to the house of Maison Mataha. It's Escapade Gourmand. This is also very fluffy and creamy. Super, like if you're ever taking whipped cream and, you know, whipping it and becomes this very fluffy texture. Here's what I experience with this. I mean, it's super creamy, and I think that creaminess is giving or lending itself to creating a very gourmand experience. But I feel like this vanilla is also on the boozy side and also on the butterscotchy side. It's so yummy. I recently started cooking some things again. I did a non-bake German cake recently with biscuits, and I had to buy some vanilla extract. And I was using it, and I was like, that smells good. That smells so good. When I was cooking and baking a lot, I was using a lot of vanilla extract, and the good kind, the expensive kind. I think probably around that time is when I was, you know, starting to appreciate the smell of vanilla. I never really wanted to wear it though. I just appreciated the smell. I think once I got into doing fragrance videos, fragrance content, my palate changed. I started enjoying vanilla. I mean, your palate opens up eventually. Like sometimes I get really negative comments about certain notes. I could just wait for these people to, you know, come back like 5 years later and they'd be like all over something that they hated, which really happened with me. I hated vanilla before. I did not want to wear it, but I'm obsessed with it. It's my number 2 favorite. I hated white flowers before. I do appreciate white flowers now, although tuberose I'm having some complications with. But this Maison Mataha, it's so fluffy. Just imagine that whipped cream into how fluffy it has become. It's not liquid anymore. It's just like a cloud, a pillow, marshmallow, and that's how you experience this Escapade Gourmand. It's quite yum. All right, so that's Maison Mataha's Escapade Gourmand. Up next, going to the house of Maison Tahiti, Van Ecstasy. I like that, Van Ecstasy. Vanilla does give you ecstasy, right? This to me, it's very spicy and very sticky. Kind of giving me the idea of a lighter Atelier d'Azur Lune Feline, not as balsamic and dark and musky like that. And also giving me a little bit of the reminder of something like Vanille Insensé from the house of Atelier Cologne. Super spicy, a bit amber woody, thick and dense, but like really awesome smelling vanilla. This could have gone into the spicy vanilla category as well. I find it to be a bit more gourmand and edible. Dessert vanilla. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Maison Tahiti? I'm waiting for them to launch another collection. They have the vanilla, they have the coffee, they have the... what's the other? Coffee, vanilla... losing it. I always thought that they were going to launch a tonka bean collection. Do they already have the tonka? Anyway, this is a really great collection of fragrances. If you don't know it, do check it out. It's a sister house to Laboratorio Olfativo, if you guys didn't know. Well, let's move on to the house of Montale. This is vanilla cake. Yep, super gourmand here. Who loves to eat cake? I'm a big cake lover. Although I don't like the frosting as much. I do want some frosting. It has to be super decadent and not like super sweet. This acts like it. There's it's the dough, the cake part, and also vanilla frosting on top, super sweet. To me, it also acts like there's nutty notes or nuts in the cake if it's a cake, and maybe some coffee. It's almost smelling like tiramisu, but not as creamy fluffy because the tiramisu has coffee in it, and I get that here from this. So it's almost like vanilla coffee cake. Well, coffee vanilla cake, but it's quite yummy. Montale does do good gourmands, by the way. Some better than others, obviously. So up next, going to the house of Nectar Olfactif. This is Melipona. Are you guys familiar with Melipona? So I haven't spoken much about this fragrance. I mean, the brand is a honey-inspired collection, and as you can see, it's quite yellow, but this to me is not much honeyed if at all. It's more vanilla, like straightforward vanilla, spicy, a bit ambery, creamy. Maybe there's some traces of of honey because, again, the brand was inspired by honey. I mean, they have 3 awesome honey-focused fragrances. Golden Nectar is one of their fragrances, which is like totally honey-inspired. I'm not getting that here as much, but I think there might be some traces of it. But it's more about the vanilla here, for sure. It is delicious. I think this is also probably their more popular or most popular fragrance, Melipona from Nectar Olfactive. So I'm going to the house of Profumum Roma next. We've got Acqua e Zucchero, basically sugar water, but it's very vanillic. A little bit citrusy as well, I think. Oh yeah. It's so yummy. This is so super cozy. It's so good. There's definitely traces of citruses here, which I quite like, but it's sweet, sugary, vanillic, slightly boozy, very yum. This could come off a bit more transparent, and I was almost going to put it into the skin transparent category of vanilla fragrances, but I decided to put it here because it maybe is a bit more gourmand, but I think it could have, you know, perfectly fit in that other category. Because to me, it's not super dense. There's an airiness about it, but man, it's good. It's so good. Really, really great. I think this was my 3rd Profumum Roma fragrance purchase. It could be 4th, somewhere around there. My very first one was Aquaviva. Aquaviva, then I bought the Rosa Monday, and then it was Acqua e Zucchero. Let me know if you guys have tried this. It's totally worth having. So yummy. Very cozy. Next, it's Dulcis in Fundo from a house of Profumum Roma. Totally different, but still very vanillic. This is a bit more darker, but still sweet, vanillic, and it's acting a bit more like caramel butterscotch. I think there's a slight bit of smokiness in there, and it's basically sugar being caramelized, you know? It's quite yummy. You can actually experience the stickiness here, and sticky like how sticky caramel can get. At this moment, to me, Acqua e Zucchero is smelling better, but there are occasions that I really love the way this smells too. I think it's totally yummy. It's just right now, the Acqua e Zucchero is really awesome smelling for some strange reason. Sometimes it happens. But that is Dulcis in Fundo from the house of Profumum Roma. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. And up next, going to the house of Swiss Arabian, it's Xerjoff Vanilla Toffee. This is full-on gourmand. Really awesomely done. And also pretty original for something from this house. Also very inexpensive. For what you get a really awesome scent. You've got coffee, you've got nutty notes, vanillic notes, toffee. It is really delicious. It also smells quite yummy because I bought my bottle at the Swiss Arabian boutique from what is it called? In Dubai, it's the souk, the perfume souk. And because I had heard about it launching, and I went in there. It was like $50 or something when I bought it. $75 because it was brand new. Something like that. Very busy store and really has become one of my favorites. They also have a few other in the collection that I like. The Tonka is great. The Azrak is great as well, which is the honey. But this to me, I think is like full-on gourmand. Really yummy. Very vanillic. That is Xerjoff Vanilla Toffee. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. We're going to the house of Profumum Roma next. This is Poets of Berlin. I had a hard time deciding where this goes. Maybe I didn't have the right category, fruity vanilla. So I put it in here in this gourmand dessert vanilla category. I almost felt like it could go into the sheer vanilla, but I decided to go here. This actually smells quite delicious in the heat, actually. This comes alive in the heat. It does have that blueberry note, but I almost pick up musk in this as well. There's certainly a muskiness in the base, which is kind of sexy. By the way, the color has gotten darker as the fragrance ages. I mean, I think it's a given. I think it's because it's vanilla. Also, the bottle is super awesome. It's a Pierre Dinan bottle. If you guys don't know who that is, famous bottle maker. But this is great. Really super awesome. Poets of Berlin from Wilhelm Parfumerie. To me, it's also an easier to wear vanilla. It's not super dense. That's why I kind of was thinking of putting it into the other category, but it is here in gourmand dessert. And I'm going to end this list with Xerjoff's Casa Morati Lira. Who's a fan of this? This to me is also caramelly sticky, but also orange comes to mind. Like there is a sweet citrusy touch at the top, which is from the orange. I mean, in the end, it's vanilla. It has a kind of a sticky consistency, and that's when I envision or experience caramel. It's a Xerjoff, so it's quite long lasting. It's not like, for me, this fragrance has never been a projection monster. So if you're looking for something that projects a lot, I don't get it from LIRA, but it performs great. It's long lasting, very comforting, very cozy, and vanilla taken into the caramel butterscotchy direction with an overdose of sweet citrusy orange. Yum. And that's LIRA, the final fragrance in the Gourmand dessert vanilla fragrances category. Thank you so much for watching that video. Are you a fan of the Gourmand style of vanilla fragrances? Let me know. Add a comment below. What are your favorite fragrances in the category, and what did I leave out? If you want to watch that original video, the deep dive that's around 3 hours, you can. It's unedited. This is edited, as you saw. And stay tuned for a few more of those videos from that video into their own shorter options like you see here. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. Go follow ScentFestSF on Instagram as well. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.